Welcome to the Pool Nation Podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zac the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast with myself, your host, Edgar De Jesus, along with John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and the famous Zac, the Pool Boy Nicholas. Today, we're answering the Pool Pro questions that have been sent in via poolnation.com. And I want to welcome everyone to our live podcast, the podcast where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting and splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our sponsors for this podcast, the Ultimate Pool Tools, the SPPA, PoolInvoice.com, Blueray XL, AquaStar Pool Products, and Pivot Pool Products. We want to thank them for their continued support.
Mr. Zacharias, good afternoon from Frisco, Texas. We are in Studio A today, believe it or not. This is the first time that we have the entire crew together, right?
Yeah.
First time we do a recording all in studio, right?
All in studio, yeah. First time.
That's pretty freaking awesome. So, Zac, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be hanging out with you guys in Dallas. And I do have to point out, I apologize to everyone if I'm squinting heavily today because there's about, 4 or 5 different lights. I want to say they're about 10,000 lumens each. But I don't look like the Night Stalker, so it's a good thing that we have those lights today.
Do you see what you do to him, John? Like, you've got him paranoid now that he looks like the Night Stalker.
The shoe fits.
So, John, we have to welcome you to beautiful Texas, right, Zac?
Yeah.
And he's soon to be a Texan. You're closing on your house this week, right? On one of them. So,
yeah,
welcome over. And how you doing?
I'm doing well. I haven't been here in such a long time. It's been, 5 days?
My son Jaden was, what the hell? He was just here. He's already back. What are they doing?
Yeah, it's going to be an ongoing thing. As time goes on, we're going to be here more and more frequently, and we're looking forward to finally making the move over. But yeah, like you said, we have first home is closing on Monday. Fingers crossed that everything goes well, but we will be proud Texas homeowners on the 31st. So exciting news there. As far as being here in Studio A again, this is pretty awesome. I'm a little concerned because let me set it up for you guys. Usually when we do these, we're at our house or we're at the podcast studio doing it, and the mics are set up a little bit different because we're all kind of, if you can picture, it doesn't look like it, but we're all sitting at a table together right now. And throughout a podcast, I'm constantly muting because I'm making noises or I'm yelling or I'm doing things and I'm saying things. And now I have to be as quiet as like a church mouse. And I don't know. It's going to be quite the podcast because you guys are probably going to be hearing some things that you usually wouldn't hear on a podcast. So let's see how it goes.
I think we normally hear him yelling at the kids as they're trying to talk to him in one corner, and you can see him distracted on the camera, and he's like this. So instead of being in front of the camera, he's looking, but he's like,
oh, exactly right. If you could only mouth read.
And then he turns back and he looks at the camera and he smiles like nothing's going on. And then all of a sudden he's like,
he hasn't figured out that his mute doesn't actually work. So.
If you guys could only lip read some of the things that I say when I go on mute, but we'll see how I do today.
I can only imagine. I got Janie already going. I can already hear your background noises, John.
Perfect. See, look, I even took my bracelet off because Edgar yells at me because my bracelet's on and I'm making noise. So I took that off and I put it down. I'm going to try to breathe calmly.
I'm being told that Zac sounds very far away. Do I sound far away still right now?
No, you sound loud and clear to me.
Sound loud and clear to you?
What about me?
Yeah. I think she's messing with us.
Sounds like we're in a box. I think she did something. That was Janie. I think she did something to do something to the podcast so that only John sounds good and we sound like idiots over here.
Perfect. Good job, babe.
Is that the case?
Let's roll with it.
All right. Let's rock and roll. Let's do our thing. So I will start off with the housekeeping notes, and that is that the Pool Nation Awards are around the corner. They're going to be November 16th at the International Pool and Spa Show in Las Vegas. So far, we have over 200 people that are going to be going to the awards. I'm super excited about it. We were finishing the video presentation. I think John caught a little bit of me being a little bit stressed yesterday, Zach. I was stressing a little bit with that whole situation, but we got it under control. You guys saw it today, so the intro part looks pretty legit, right?
No, absolutely.
Absolutely. So anybody that's out there that is going to attend the International Pool and Spa Show and specifically the awards, you guys do have to register. You do need to get tickets. So you're going to want to do a couple of things, and I think I'm going to let Zach get into the details of all that fun stuff. But again, it's November 16th at the International Pool and Spa Show in Las Vegas. It's going to be on the third floor of the convention center. So if you're attending the convention will be on the first floor. All you have to do is take the elevator to the third floor or the escalators, and you will be right where we are having the event. Super excited. It's around the corner.
Yeah, guys, don't forget, and I know we talk about it every single time, but we want to remind you that this is a gala event, so suits and tie for the men or tuxedos and cocktail dresses for the women. We want to take a second to thank all of our sponsors for the awards. Our platinum sponsor is HASA, and our gold sponsors are Blueray XL, Heritage Pool Supply, Natural Chemistry, the SPPA, Leslie's Pro, Ultimate Pool Tools, and AquaStar Pool Products.
We also want to thank the International Pool and Spa Show for partnering with us, for allowing us to do the awards there. And next Tuesday, we have the podcast with them. They're actually going to have Megan come out. They have the new director of the show that's going to be coming out. So I am super excited to see all the kind of fun new stuff. I know that the show's attendance is so far looking really, really good. There's a lot of people that are going out there, so I'm really excited about it. So anybody that wants to come out and visit us, we are going to be in booth 4344. So make sure that you guys come out and visit us. And Zach, how do they register for the awards and for the show?
Yeah, so to attend the awards, you're going to need tickets, and you can get them by going to poolnationawards.com, and there's a button that says Get Tickets for Pool Nation Awards, and you can click on that and get your tickets there. Or on that same page at the top, there's a red button that says Free Expo Pass. You can click on that, and it'll take you to the International Pool Spa Patio Expo site where you can register and get your free Expo Pass to get on the floor. And as you go through the registration, one of the steps will prompt you to choose the events you want to attend, and you'll just choose the Pool Nation Awards at that point. And please note that the Expo Pass is a $60 cost, I believe, or last year it was. So make sure you use the code Pool Nation in all caps to get that for free.
Absolutely. And if you are going to the women's networking event, there's a couple things that you're going to want to do is A, make sure that you are either registered to be able to go to the welcome party, 2, that you're going to attend the awards. And if you haven't done either one of those and you want to attend the women's networking, what you're going to need to do is send me an email at Edgar at Pool Nation Podcast with your name and info, contact info, and we will be able to register you so that you have access to the event. And that event is going to be on Tuesday, starting at 4:30 to 7, and it's going to be at the convention center. It's going to be on the third floor, I think room 305 or 307. We'll have a big banner in front of it so that you guys know where the room is located, but any information, send me a message and we will be able to connect. Zach, John, I do have Leslie on telling us that we look way too serious today, that there's just too much seriousness going on.
Well, I got to jump in and say I'm a little bit tired. And Edgar was talking about how watching the video and showing us the video, and he didn't tell you how he had me up at like 10:30, 11 o'clock last night. He's showing me this video. They talk about reading the room. If you would have looked over, you would have saw me sitting in an office chair like this. As he's showing me this intro video. So I am dragging just a hair today.
Well, look, I'm doing well. I got sleep last night. Usually when we come to Texas, we take off at 6 o'clock in the morning. So we're up at 3:30, and I usually just stay up all night and then hopefully sleep on the plane. Last night, I actually had a little bit of sleep. I went to bed really early, like around 8 o'clock, and woke up like around 12:30. So I'm fully energized and ready to rock and roll. I have 15 summer moons, 10 5 hours, 3 monsters, right, all in my system. And I'm supposed to sit here quiet while you guys are talking. So I'm not making any noise or fidgeting or grabbing my phone or trying to drink and gulping and breathing. So the reason why I look so serious is because...
Trust me, this is me concentrating right now because I'm having a hard time keeping quiet. So that's why I'm so serious. So my apologies. I'll try to break a smile.
Yeah, it sounds like we need to loosen up a little bit, right? Kind of fish out of water in the new studio and just kind of a little intimidating.
No, not intimidating. I just don't want to hear you about editing is going to be a pain in the ass because I've made all these noises while we're doing the podcast.
I do have to tell everybody
you got enough on
that if you are not watching this video, go onto YouTube or Facebook later. And look, I made him take off his bracelet. I just pointed at him. I gave him a dirty look once the podcast started, and I grabbed the bracelet, and I was like, put that thing down here. And he took it off, and he gave it to me. So we got you set there so that we don't have any issues, John.
Yep.
If you listen to the podcast, I want everybody to realize what this sound is. Ready?
Yeah. Yep, that's me.
That's every time John talks. Now you know what it is that has caused that noise.
And the occasional,
for all these years.
Fist slam on the table.
So now he'll slam and the whole camera will just shake and boom. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, I want to thank Ken from Ultimate Pool. If you guys watched our social media this week, you were able to see that Ken created 2 amazing hyper pools, Pool Nation limited edition. There's only 40 of them out there. If you are interested in getting one, go to ultimatepooltools.com. You can see the pre-order there. He made one that was blue and one that was pink. And like I said, limited edition. Zac, you got to see them in person yesterday. What did you think about them?
Yeah, the pictures don't do them justice. Once you actually hold one, they're really cool. And they've got, it's almost like a 3D print to it. You can feel all the print and everything.
It's raised. Raised. Yeah, it's pretty badass.
I do have people over here asking, where are we at today? Because obviously the background is not our normal. So we are in Studio A, and this is where, if you look at Zac's camera, you can see the beautiful background. Why don't you do a pan for everybody so everybody can see, and they can see our crowd out here, sitting out here. Ladies, why don't you wave at the camera to our audience while we do that? We are in Studio A. This is where we shoot a lot of our content, a lot of our video with our sponsors. And we decided, hey, let's change it up a little bit and let's have our setup in here today. And I'm digging it because it's a little overcast outside. It's nice, right?
Oh, it's beautiful.
And the weather's just beautiful.
I'm excited for dinner tonight. We're talking about doing Puerto Rican food, so...
Plantains.
I think John is still afraid. I think John's still worried about it, right? Because John doesn't do like seafood or any of that. And I said, hey, and I tapped him on the shoulders and I went, John, I'm going to take you somewhere special. Because I know food is important to you. And I said, I'm taking you to Puerto Rican food. And he just looked at me and he's like, is that any good?
Well, it's amazing what he thinks that you eat in Puerto Rico.
I know. He thinks we eat freaking dead people.
No, I mean, you're from a little village, right? Right? Look. My family grew up in a village, and trust me, when we went to my parents' village, dude, it was crazy what they ate there. Aren't you from a little village?
Oh, man. Not only am I from a little village, John, but I come from where we had spears and we had to go hunting for our own food. And little, what are those called, Zac? The little, not the skirts, but the one that just covers the front and the back and kind of...
The loincloth.
Loincloth. And we used to have to go out there and go spear hunting out for... in my village. You know what? I think the elders in my village are probably right now like offended from you, John.
I could say my father comes from such a small village that there's a street named after us.
Uh-huh.
That's how small. I think there was like a population of 30 people. That's how small that village was. And it was up in the mountains. So that's what they were doing with fig leaves. It was, so I thought it was the same thing.
How am I expected to continue on with this podcast, Zac? Zac, I actually got a little offended because I know how important food is to John, and just the fact that I wanted to take him there, and he's like, first thing out of his mouth, spicy stuff? I'm like, no. Seafood? No. He goes, I don't know. So he goes over to Janie and he's like, Janie, look up this restaurant that Edgar's talking about. Let's take a look at it before we decide that's where we're going to go. Yeah. And it wasn't until I got upset and I told him, I'm actually offended that you think that I would not treat you with that respect and take you to,
I failed. I'm sorry.
Anyways, it's all good, brother. So super excited to get out there. I think when we head down that way, there's a whole bunch of houses and things like that. I have a feeling that that's where you're going to end up moving to because it's such a nice area.
I just got a mental picture now when we're eating dinner of you going to in your village.
Well, the servers in this restaurant are dressed like that, so that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the people in the loins and the... so... Anyways, guys, we're going to be doing a competition at the International Pool and Spa Show. I'm actually super excited about this because what we're going to do is we're going to bring some of our podcasting equipment out. We're going to set it up. We're actually going to have a charging station at our booth this year. So if for any reason anybody needs to go charge their phones or any of that kind of stuff, you guys can come by our booth. You can hang out with us. You can charge all of your equipment. There, we are going to do a competition. And what we're going to do is we're going to have everybody come in and basically try to record the intro that I botch up 99.7 or 0.9% of the time.
No, you nail it now. It took you
7 years.
Almost 2.5 years to finally figure it out, but now you got it down pat.
So we're good now?
Yeah, you got it good.
I appreciate that. So at the booth, what will happen is you'll come out, you will go through the intro that I do always at the beginning of the podcast. We are going to have Luke Daly, which is the host of the Splash podcast all the way from Australia. He's coming out. He's coming out to the show. He's coming out to the awards. He's going to be at our booth on Tuesday from 12 to 2. From 12 to 2, come by the booth. You will be able to record that, and then he will choose the winner. And the winner is going to receive a limited edition Hyper Pool.
I think he said he'll have a little tip box.
He's taking tips?
He's taking tips. So
okay. So we can work that out.
Bribery is condoned.
Let me ask you guys this. Should we talk about the prizes for the Pool Guy and Pool Girl of the Year, or should we still keep that under wraps?
I think we should say something.
You think we should say something?
I think we should say something.
You too?
Yeah.
We're going to be starting Monday, I think we're going to just be screaming it from the top of the rooftops, right? Because we're so excited that everybody came together and we're able to make this happen. Let's just spill the tea.
Let's do. Who wants to do the honors?
Edgar?
You want me to do the honors?
Absolutely.
All right. So here's what we've done. We've partnered with a lot of people that are going to be at the show, and I want everybody to listen to this because we're super excited. So the Pool Guy and Pool Girl of the Year, the ones that win, will receive the following. They are going to receive a pump and a filter from AquaStar Pool Products, Ray Pack heater to go with that setup. They're going to receive an aerial cleaner. They're going to win an Ultimate Pole limited edition. And they're going to win $200 worth of natural chemistry products.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Right? How cool is that?
It's almost a pad right there.
It is almost a pad, right?
That's literally almost a pad.
We're talking about close to like almost $10,000 in retail of product per person.
Absolutely.
And we might not even be done. So this is just a teaser, right? And this is just what we have guaranteed, but we're still working on getting more prizes. This is just unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
And well-deserving. How cool is it going to be win Pool Guy of the Year or win Pool Girl of the Year? And not only that, get a beautiful trophy, get recognized in front of the industry, in front of your peers, and in front of the manufacturers and the execs that are going to be there. But on top of that, get to take a nice little prize home. Either use it to upgrade your home if you have a pool, or use it to sell it, do whatever you want to do with it. But in essence, we're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars worth of merchandise that if you turn around and sell it and install it, which is pretty neat. So we just want to thank Raypack, all our sponsors, AquaStar. You guys have been amazing. Pool. You guys are... Pivot. The list goes on. And then, I think we're also giving away from Hasa.
Oh, we forgot the liquid feeders.
A liquidator, right?
Yeah, the Hasa liquid fader.
Fader.
The liquid Darth Vader.
The liquid Darth Vader.
The liquid Darth Vader. Hasa, what is it? The HLF. Yeah. Hasa liquid feeder.
Yeah.
So how cool is that?
Yeah.
So what are we missing?
I think we're probably going to give them some Blu-rays too.
We're going to reach out. And then for the pad, what do we need? We got pump, we got heater, we got filter.
And we need automation.
We need automation. That's what we need, right?
So we'll work on automation.
So you know what? Monday morning, I'm going to make some calls and I'm going to go to work and try to do that. Imagine how cool that would be to be able to do a full pad.
Right.
One for the pool guy, one for the pool girl. And then we also have some prizes coming over for the pool company of the year as well that we're working on.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get them hooked up.
Well, hey, look, I know friend Brian is always listening. I didn't hear Hayward in any of those. So, Brian, it might be a good time to get that automation out there.
Let's see if he's listening, right?
Uh-huh.
You know what? I need to send him a text and I need to tell him, you know what? I'm going to do that right here where we're having the conversation. So anyways, everybody get out there on Tuesday. Go ahead and show up at the booth. We will have the script so that you could read through it. I'm super excited to see who wins that. I want to see who's going to do that. And I know we have some people in here. Janie, are you going to be doing that? Are you going to be doing the intro? Are you going to try for the competition for the intro? Yeah? She's nodding her head yes over there. Leanne, are you in or are you out? She's not listening. She doesn't know if she's in or out. Jaden, are you in? He's already going to win it. Wow. Little confidence there. I appreciate that. That's some good stuff. So let's do this, only because these guys always keep me in check. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors. When we come back, we will jump into our questions.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blueray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blueray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blueray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BlueRayXL.com.
Blueray all day.
AquaStar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today. Pivot how you clean pools. Debris that makes it to the bottom always enters from the surface. Clean from the top with Ariel, a smart solar-powered pool skimming robot. She works around the clock skimming pesky and fine debris off the pool surface. Tell your customers about Ariel and earn big commission on every sale. With advanced solutions like Ariel, you'll spend less time at the pools you service, improve customer relations, and increase your bottom line. Plus, pool owners will enjoy a constantly swim-ready and healthy pool and lower energy bills. Visit pivotpoolproducts.com/dealers to see how much you can earn and for resources on how to get your customers to ditch the net for good.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. We're talking to John. We're talking to Zach. We're answering your business questions. Let's jump into this bad boy.
There are always people selling routes. It's a way to grow fast. You're basically buying revenue, but is it a good way to go about building a sustainable business? I see problems doing it this way. Influx of accounts means you need the personnel to handle them. Homeowner may not like the way you do things, or the date, the routine change may not work for them, the homeowner. Is this a good return on investment, or are there better ways to spend money to grow? And is this healthy to grow this fast? Related to this, where do you find the money to purchase the route? Either a business loan, second mortgage, where do you find the money? So I'm going to let Zac answer first.
Yeah, so it sounds like a really good way to expand and rapidly do so. And in some cases it may be. And we've never personally purchased any routes or anything like that, but I have a lot of the same reservations when it comes to that as far as the potential issues that were raised in the questions. And we've personally been approached several times by other companies that were basically selling their whole business, not just their route. And when I start digging and asking questions into their operations and their finances and kind of the structure of their business, it never makes sense for us to do so. And I usually find that the people that come with it, their employees, they're structured in a way that wouldn't mesh with the way that we handle our employees and have everyone set up. And I also find that their pricing structure is another piece that won't work with us. So long story short, when it comes to it, I always find out through my digging and my questioning that the opportunity just, it wouldn't make sense. And as far as the question about, is it healthy to grow that fast? If you're properly structured and you find an opportunity that fits into the way you do things, then in my opinion, it would absolutely make sense and be healthy and a great way to take a quantum leap with your business. Now, for the financing piece of it, that may be a bit trickier. And from my understanding, I don't know that a bank would finance the purchasing of an account, but that would really be a conversation for your banker. But I'm a believer that if there's a will, there's a way, and there are a lot of creative ways to find financing and get it done. So if you find that opportunity and it makes sense, then I think anyone that wanted to do so could make it work. Just make sure you do your due diligence and make sure that you crunch the numbers and you look at everything and make sure it makes sense for you and you're not just excited and taking a leap. John, what about you?
So I get asked this question a lot, and hearing what you have to say, Zac, I got to say that I do agree. We're in the same boat. Us personally as a company, we've never purchased any of our pools, or have we looked into buying a route. It just doesn't fit our model and what we're trying to do. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it can't for someone else. I would say this, and this would be, and I don't want to knock buying routes because that's not it. And I'm going to go through some pros and some cons that I believe that you all need to take into consideration before you make a big decision like this, is that purchasing a route can be beneficial and can be a great way to grow if you are experienced in the industry or you have an established business and you're looking to add on to that. And the reason why is because you already have a good understanding of what you expect from your pools, what you expect from your customers, location, all the ins and outs that you would not necessarily know if you don't have that experience. Where otherwise, if you're brand new in the industry and you're going to purchase a route, the fear of unknown is real. And who knows what you're getting into? And not saying that somebody's out there selling pools that are garbage, right? But the truth is, there's a reason why pools are being sold. And unless it's somebody who's retiring or somebody who already has an established route and are just getting out of the business, but usually companies that sell pools are pools that aren't profitable for them, or pools that might not be in their area, or for whatever the reason may be. If you're new getting into the business and you don't have any accounts, and all of a sudden you go from 0 to 100 or 0 to 50, whatever problems that those accounts have, you automatically inherit them. And now instead of learning through experience of what you want and don't want, and being able to change based off of the next customer you quote, right? You're not going to have that luxury. So when we started and we picked up our first account, trust me, and we still have that first account, but I'll tell you right now, it's the worst account we've ever had, but I don't want to get rid of it. We've had it for many, many years, right? We're getting close to pushing a decade, and it's like, all right, this pool, I would never in my right mind ever get it. But the homeowner, we've grown to have a great relationship, and we just love them, but the pool is just a pain in the ass. I learned from that, right? And then the next pool that we picked up, I learned my mistakes from it and what the problems were, and I was able to change that. And then I was able to better myself and create the company that I wanted to become. If I had 50 pools that were like that, I think after 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I would have probably put up the towel and quit the pool industry and gone and done something else, because I would have been like, holy crap, this is not cut out for me. Because the truth is, there are some accounts out there or some backyards and some customers that can make your life very, very difficult. And if you're green to the industry and you're getting into it and you don't understand that that's not okay, or not all pools are like that, and you shouldn't have to work that hard at a pool or work that hard with the customer, then it could be very demotivating. So just word of caution when you do it, just be very careful. Do your research. If you do go to purchase pools, there are pool brokers that are out there, and that helps alleviate some of that stress, because there's some filters that they go through, and they have to look at financials, and they have to look at the billing history, and some things have to fall in place before that pool or that route is eligible for sale, because they know that their commission's on the line. They know that money can get returned and transaction could get canceled or whatever it may be. So those pools are less likely to fall apart, but doesn't necessarily mean that you still won't have issues with them. I know that really probably doesn't answer the question, and I'm not really trying to scare anybody into buying pools. I know I have a good friend of mine who owns a company out in Southern California, and he's purchased many pools, and he's grown substantially from them, and he's done a great job with them. But again, he's established, and he knows what he's looking for, and he can go into a backyard, and he can see if those accounts are something that he wants or if it's going to fit their model. He understands his numbers, he knows his numbers, and he can look and see look at a P&L or look at the monthly billing based off chemical usage and what the average cost per stop is, and see if it's just feasible. And if it is, and they acquire it, then it's just a wonderful way to grow. If you have the capital, go for it. But if you're just starting out, I would probably slow down a little bit, and I would try growing organically at first. And once you get comfortable in what you're doing, then you can look into building or buying a route. That's just my personal opinion.
And you want to find out, because I know a lot of the play is that it has to come with an employee or someone servicing those pools in a lot of the cases. And you really need to find out about the employees, because I've looked at many different opportunities where you can see that it's a bunch of new hires. They have less than 6 months or even 8 months of time with that company, and what you could be walking into is taking on all of those accounts and potentially losing the people that you're getting to take care of it, and at that point you could end up with a royal mess. So I think that's really, for me, when we're looking at stuff, that's going to be a key piece that has to be there in order for it to make sense for us.
No, you bring up a good point, Zach, because there's a lot of clause, right, in the contract that says, hey, if the account is lost because of something that you've done, like your employee doesn't do a good job, or you let the pool turn green, or whatever it may be, that there's no protection for that I'm aware of. The only protection usually that comes with accounts or guarantees is that as long as you keep your end of the bargain and you continue to service the pool and you show up and you do your job properly and the pool's maintained correctly, they guarantee that the customer won't drop you for the first 30 days or 60 days or 90 days or the term is set. But if you're not showing up, or if you brought on an employee with 100 pools and you have one employee doing 100 pools and that guy called out sick for 4 days or whatever, and then now you can't go out there and service those pools and those customers are dropping you because, hey, you're not showing up, you're a no-call, no-show, or you're not servicing their pool, I don't think that falls into the protection. So these are all the things you just have to take into consideration. Another point, as far as when you do purchase pools, and I know I said look at brokers. Usually when you go brokers, from what I know, is they're about 10 times, 11 times, 12 times. Sometimes it goes as high as times monthly revenue. Other options if you do a peer-to-peer transaction, right? But that's where it gets a little bit more risky. But there could also be more reward, because those transactions tend to be at a lot less than 12 times or 10 times. And I've known guys that have picked up pools at 4 times or 5 times, and they've turned out to be home runs, right? Yeah, you're going to lose a couple here and there, but if you can get a great deal on them, then it might even be more enticing. It might even be more worth it for you to try and go for it. I know we're a little wishy-washy there, and we're not really trying to scare anybody, but we're just trying to give you just our honest opinion and what we've personally done. But it's ultimately up to you what you think's best for you and your company. As far as like the financing portion of it, banks, will they really loan? Will they give you a loan for something like that? Probably not, but I don't know. But you can get a personal loan if that's what you want to do. Does it make sense? Personal loans are usually pretty high in interest rates unless you have really stellar credit. And then you're just putting yourself up more in more debt. You can do, I know some people that have taken seconds on their homes. I don't recommend that, but there's ways you can get money. And just like Zac said, if there's a will, there's a way. If you really want it, you can get it. I personally think the best way of purchasing a route, and I know guys that have done this too, is working it off. So if you can make a deal with your peer and say, hey, look, we're paying 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, whatever it may be, and I'm going to work it off. You can continue to collect billing for those months, and I'll work for free and provide the chems and do everything. You just collect the money, and at the end of that term, billing will switch over to our company. A couple benefits from that is, a few benefits actually, and I think it's the best way is, 1, you get to see the pools, right? And you get to work them. 2, it's a smooth transition between company changes because it doesn't matter how good you are. There's some people that really don't like change and don't like the fact that somebody else is in their backyard, especially from one week to the other. Mm-hmm. And if you're there working in those pools off and the other company's still collecting those bills or sending out the invoices, then it just makes it a very seamless transition. And then 3, if there's any problem pools or pools that you just don't want, that's something that you can always go back and renegotiate and say, hey, look, no, this isn't really the pool that we're looking to purchase. And then you can figure out a different deal or change up the deal or renegotiate. But that would probably be the best way to finance it if you can find a way to do that. I don't believe getting in debt, especially when you're first starting a business, is a very smart move. And if you have capital already in reserves and you can afford to do it, then it might be easier. But to put yourself into debt puts you in a pretty high stress situation immediately. And we're not talking just a couple $1,000s. People, you spend tens of thousands of dollars, up to $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 buying routes. So, yeah. What do you think, Edgar?
Well, I can only speak by experience. So when I started, I bought my first route, and I think it was 56 pools. Same scenario, 4 customers didn't want to go through the transition, so yeah, they dropped me. Fortunately, I did buy through a route broker, and it was 12 times, John. And normally the way that it'll work is they'll sell the pools. They give the owner 10 times, and then the broker keeps 2 times is normally the way it works. And they can go from 10 to 14. I've known some to go 18 because they're all like completely in a row. But the way it works is exactly like that. You buy the route, you buy the pools. If the customers within the first 90 days decide that they don't want to go with service with you other than the pool flipping green, right? So if you can't maintain the pool and the pool goes green, then that's on your own, you own it. But other than that, if the customer says, I want to find my own pool guy, or I don't like this guy, whatever it is, they have to reimburse you for that account. So that's a great benefit to have, especially if you're starting into the industry and you don't have tons and tons of experience like I did. That was a big safety net for me, right? Because then he had to get me either 4 more pools or he had to reimburse me for those 12 times for those pools. So banks will not loan against buying a pool route. And I know that because I tried it and I went to the bank and we kind of looked at it to see if that was something that we wanted to do. And they want some collateral. They can't just buy a service account. There has to be some type of something physical attached to it, so they wouldn't do that. So yeah, fortunately, we were in a situation where we were able to just buy the route, but we had to do it cash. Other than that, it was like you were saying, where they would say you can line of credit on the house, or you can get a second mortgage, or you can get it out. We didn't want to do any of that. So that's the way that works. You do need to understand that with every route that you buy, not 100% of the pools are going to be cherry. Even in our routes, our route is not cherry. So it's impossible to just go out there and have a very cherry route that you're going to have out there. So you are going to have to go through that. The other thing is you can have an advantage, and John, you talked a little bit about this, and that is that if your pool service is a premier pool service and you're taking on an account that's somebody that just kind of nets and jets, it puts you in a great position, right? Because you are coming in and you're going to look like a hero very quickly. However, if, you have somebody that's working for you, you're bringing somebody on, you guys are stretched too thin, then that can backfire on you, because now you have somebody that's used to the pool boys' way of service, and now they're getting that needs to cut corners in order to be able to service those accounts. So it can backfire. Here's the other thing that I'll tell anybody that's listening and thinking about it, and that is that one of the things that you have to make sure that you're able to do is you have to look at your numbers and figure out what your cost is to service a pool, because you're going to bring that account into your model of service. And are you buying a pool that's at $85, $100, right? And if your cost to service the pool is $70, does it really make sense to take on those pools at $80, $90, $100? So it's really important for you to know that if you're going to go buy a route, hey, I need the pools to be at a rate of $140, right? And we always talk about it. We always talk about average rate, because when you're buying a route or you talk to somebody, they'll tell you, oh, my rate's $200. But yet when you take the highs and the lows, really the average rate is $160. And if you want, your numbers to work, you need to know what that is. So in your case, and I know exactly who you're talking about, and he's really gotten to the point where he's really numbers driven. It makes sense for him because he could sit there, he could dissect it and go, with the way that I do business, this is what my pool is going to cost me to do service. So if I go in, this company makes sense, this company doesn't make sense, right? So it is a big tool to be able to acquire pools and grow and stuff like that. Some of the other things that you need to look at is exactly what you were saying, Zach, which is if you don't have those extra techs and you're bringing somebody on, you need to make sure that that person is going to be able to gel to the way that you do service, because they've been doing service. If they're netting and jetting and Zach, the pool boy's coming in going, whoa, wait a second. That's not the way that we do business here. Can we unlearn what we've learned, and can we retrain that person? So I think there's a lot of things that you need to look at, but at the end of the day, if you're able to really look at those numbers and the numbers make sense and you have the capital to do it, right, it would make sense.
And I think there's a lot of people out there that make business of building these routes to sell, and they do it in a way that they can do it quickly, which is generally lower price point, things like that. So you have to be able to through that. And I have a question, because I've never done so, but just thinking about it, how long does it take you to make a return on that purchase? If you're doing a work off and they're billing, are you literally out of pocket the entire time?
Yep. And
you have to have some sort of cash position to be able to fund that. And if you're buying a route and it's a 10-month work off, like 10 months is a very long time to not be generating income. So that can be a little bit intimidating.
No, for sure it is, but it's a lot easier to swallow than to put all that money up front.
But since you can't do bank lending, I think any way you get financed is going to be similar through a broker, through whatever. You're going to be out of pocket the whole time. Like a bank loan, they would term it out over a longer period of time.
It's true.
So
true.
That could be very scary.
It just depends whether you can, and again, if you work them off, you're like John says, you're not having to put that capital out. And if you do have the time and you know that after those 10 months, that revenue is going to be there, then that could be a good thing. And I've known pool companies, even close to where John's at, that's what they've done is they've had people that come out with 40 pools and they're like, hey, we're going to leave the business. We'll give them to you. Most of the time, the work offs are not 10 or 12 months. Yeah. They're a lot less. But I know specific company, husband and wife, and they took on 40 pools and it was about 6 months. So for the 6 months, it was very tight for them because they were having to do that. But after that 6 months, their numbers were going to shoot through the roof because now it's like, boom, you have all that extra revenue. So it really just kind of depends how that works.
And it matters whether you have employees, right? If you're a one poler and you're working it off yourself and you're doing it, then you don't have that payroll on top of the chem usage. And also the time of year, right? So if you're taking it on during summertime and you're going through a lot more chems than you would in wintertime. So there's so many different variables that go into it. But if you're a one poler and you're working off 40 pools or 30 pools and you're willing to put the labor in yourself and it's during the wintertime or fall time, right? Chem usage is not nearly as high, then you can see it as being a benefit because one, you're not having to pay an employee, but you make a great point, Zach. It's ultimately the same thing, right? But we're just shifting money around
Yeah.
But if you can get in-house financing like that, I think there's other benefits from it too. Like I talked about, that you get a visual on it too. And at 2 months into it, if this isn't working out, you can say, hey, look, this isn't it. And you got a way out. You're not kind of stuck.
Try to drag out the term. I would try to term it out longer. 6 months, the pools are ours, and we pay for another 6 months, lower the payment.
What a question, right? And we can keep going on and on and on about this, but it's something that a lot of people do, and there's a lot of people that get burned doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And especially if you're brand new in the industry, it's a smack in the face if you get caught with your pants down, right? And you don't do your homework. And even if you do your homework, sometimes you can't even. There's things that you just can't see because you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And it's hard to really visualize what those accounts are going to be like unless you've actually worked them or you have experience because you've been there and you've done that. So it's a gamble, high risk, high reward. High risk, definitely high reward. But it all depends.
John, Zac, believe it or not, it's already been 53 minutes. Now we're going to do something. So 2 things here. One, you guys were talking. I was very excited because I figured out a new little toy with this whole streaming live thing. Did you guys notice it?
I did.
I don't think John noticed it.
No.
John didn't notice it?
Mm-mm.
So, John, I want you to watch the screen, right? Because you got your camera and you're watching that. And then as I was sitting here chatting, then look at what we got. We got what we got going on. Look at the screen.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Just to let you know, for the people that are going to only listen to this on audio, so we're using a different platform today. We're in Studio A. We did a full-blown setup here with us setting up all the equipment and the mixer and all that kind of stuff. It's a little bit more work for me, but we were playing with a new online platform that's out here. And so if you go to Facebook or YouTube, you have your captions, and then anybody that types in the chat, we can actually click on that, and then it shows the name of the person on the screen, almost like the news, and it shows their caption.
That was going to be my question because we have some friends that are on here, my boys. Sometimes they're not very PC, and so we get visibility right before we add it onto the screen, right?
Yeah, we have total visibility.
So like right now, somebody sent a new message. And here we go. So Benny and Shannon have been talking about the Georgia football game that's been going on, and they've been going back and forth because they're Georgia fans. So Benny's asking Shannon here, hey, you watching this? Another touchdown.
Yeah.
So you can go through. There's Shannon. I am answering to that chat. But
all right, I'm digging this.
We could definitely go through and turn those on. Of course, it's a distraction for me, right? Because I could get distracted very easily paying attention to this rather than...
Well, you're like, it's a lot of work for me to set them. You love every second of it.
Yeah.
Just geeking out.
So anyways, guys, let's try to do this. So when we tried to go to commercial break earlier, we were getting that we couldn't hear the commercial breaks on here. So here's one of the things that we're going to do. So we have somebody in studio today. We have Janie with us today, and we have Leanne and Jaden. I almost said Zac. Jaden is with us here today. He's looking at me like, really, you're doing that again? I call him every name but his. Do you do that, John, with your kids?
Oh, dude, I run through my kids. Alex, Bobby, Aiden, Alex, Bob. Damn it, which one are you?
The other day, I even called poor Jaden the dog's name. I'm like, Roscoe, Jade, Mickey, and he was looking at me like, what is wrong with you, dude?
Yeah.
So I think that's why he was getting even. He came over to me, he tapped me on the shoulder, Zac, and he goes, yeah, just to give you a heads up, you're getting a little old. So I think it was getting at that.
We've gotten to the point where the boys are getting older, right? Especially Alex and Bobby. When they're like laying down or not necessarily looking at you, you can't tell the difference anymore when you're looking at them. Sometimes you're like, who is that? Who is that young dude in my, you know what I mean? Who's in my house? And you think it's Bobby, and I'm yelling, Bobby, 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 wake up, wake up, wake up. And I'm looking, and it turns around, and it's Alex. But it happens. It happens.
I do want to give a big shout out to Shannon out there. Daniel Bowden, I think, was on there, right? Was that Daniel Bowden that was on there a little bit earlier? And so they are watching the game. So she's watching the game and listening to.
Look at the love. Look at the love.
Look at that.
Even
amazing.
Yeah, look at the love. Watching the game and taking the time to listen to us knuckleheads. Well, much appreciated, everybody.
Anyway, so everybody listening, here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to take a word from our sponsors. I'm going to try to play it here. If for some reason we can't hear it, then we will stop that and we will go into final thoughts and we will edit those bad boys in there. a little bit later. So guys, let's try to take a final word from our sponsors. When we come back, Zac, John, I'll get your final thoughts. Here we go. Let's give it a try.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blueray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blueray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blueray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BlueRayXL.com.
Blueray all day.
AquaStar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double-locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today. Pivot how you clean pools. Debris that makes it to the bottom always enters from the surface. Clean from the top with Ariel, a smart solar-powered pool skimming robot. She works around the clock skimming pesky and fine debris off the pool surface. Tell your customers about Ariel and earn big commission on every sale. With advanced solutions like Ariel, you'll spend less time at the pools you service, improve customer relations, and increase your bottom line. Plus, pool owners will enjoy a constantly swim-ready and healthy pool and lower energy bills. Visit pivotpoolproducts.com/dealers to see how much you can earn and for resources on how to get your customers to ditch the net for good.
Welcome back, everybody. I decided to play with this once I had it going the proper way over here. And thank God that I have Janie in the studio, and she's going like this to me. You muted Zac and you muted everybody. So anyways, Benny, I know that it is listening and would be slapping my hand because Benny's a big, huge tech guy. Yeah. And so he was giving me crap over here teasing that when we were talking about doing the podcast, and you need some new faces in there to help co-host. So I think he's trying to bring himself on. What do you think?
That'd be cool.
Right? Bring Benny on to do...
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, Benny, here's what we're going to do, Benny. What you need to do is you need to go to... Well, you're going to be there because you're going to do some of the stuff, but let's go ahead and have him record the intro, and then we'll have him play on the podcast. But anyways...
That's what we should do.
Yeah, we should.
Best intro, the winner of it. We bring them on the show, and they do the intro.
Yeah.
I like it.
Done.
I like it. Done. All right. So here's what we're going to do. And this is how easy it is to do, right? So they win an ultimate poll, and then they get to come on the podcast and they get to do the intro live.
Oh, yeah.
How's that?
Yes.
So anyways, I do have to say here, and I'm going to share this because Janie is in studio with us, and she likes it when we mess up a little bit. It makes it real. At the beginning, we'd be all stressed out. Now, it is what it is.
John,
what can you do? It's live.
John has a term for it.
Oh, it's a shit show. Oh, it's a shit show for sure.
I've been waiting for it.
This is going to be my final thoughts. Trust me. I got a lot to say for my final thoughts. It has nothing to do with any other questions or anything to do with pools. Trust me.
Oh, man. I love it. I love it. So those are the new rules. New rules is winner comes on the podcast, does the live intro with us, and they win an ultimate Pool Nation limited edition. Okay, let's get into some final thoughts here. John, let's start with you.
Oh, you're throwing a curveball.
Yep,
there.
I'm throwing a curveball since we're in studio.
Oh, well, wow. Okay. You really messed me up there. Why are you doing that? I guess,
all right.
I guess no. It's all right. We're going to keep going.
You got this? You got this?
We're going to roll.
You got this? Okay.
We're going to roll with it.
Okay, let's roll.
Let's roll with it. So, look, my final thoughts is this. All I'm thinking about is, are we going to have to hire a new edit man? Because poor Kevin
is going to slap me.
Is probably going to look at this and I'm on vacation. I'm not going to be able to get to this, or he's going to charge us 10 times the going rate to edit this one. But no, the truth is this. Look, it's always fun. One, we love coming out to Texas. Two, it's awesome being in the studio. I wish you guys, those of you that have not been in here, it's pretty cool, man. This is literally like state-of-the-art studio. All the equipment's top of the line, and we absolutely love being in here playing around with it. Look, we're pool guys. And we know pumps, we know filters, we know chemistry, we know that kind of stuff. But, we're still learning a little bit when it comes down to this technical, all this high-tech camera, audio, video. Edgar has this big old podcast mixer table thing that he has, a new toy. And I think he needs to, when he goes home, homework for him is to study the manual, right? Because what do we tell everybody? This is what I do. When people call me up and say, hey, John,
I'm getting ripped a new one here.
Can anybody, okay, look, how do I work on heaters? Or help me out with this heater. I don't know what to do here, or automation, or this and that, or a pump, or how to program it. And first thing I tell them, and I go, I'm more than happy to help you. We're going to walk you through it. We're going to get your customer taken care of right now, whatever we need to do. And then after that, when I'm going to talk to them, I'm going to say, hey, look, what I need you to do, have you ever opened up the manual and looked at it? Because 80% of the questions are answered in that manual. So, Edgar, did you look at that manual first before we went live with this new turntable, $5,000 podcast mixer-upper thingamajigger?
So I did. I'm not going to lie, I did. I read all the instructions. But you know how it is, John. It's like you can read something, and it doesn't matter what you read when you got it. And then here's what we did. Here's what I did. I think here's where we screwed it up. So last night, even Zac was on with me, and I had Jaden the day before. No, yesterday. Even yesterday, my son and I were playing with the podcast, and we were using different cameras and different things. But when you do the whole live thing, the whole interfacing of that with the mixer and all that kind of stuff is just all new. So I quickly figured out what it was, Janie, and I know because Janie's watching, but I went to mute Zac, and then I accidentally hit the on-air button. So I blanked out. Instead of muting it, I took the entire audio out of our system here. So I think I learned my lesson on that one, but I'm sure it's not going to be the last mess up, John.
No, this is fun. I love this. Look, we've been doing these podcasts now for we've been doing a lot of podcasts, right? And we're pushing 2 years now. This isn't our first rodeo, but it feels fun to have fun messing up, right? And doing this and going through new things. And the only reason why we're doing this is so that we can get cooler stuff for everybody and look a little bit more high tech and get with the times. And I'm enjoying every friggin' second of it. But most importantly, I like having Zac here and Edgar. And yeah, look, no, you're taking videos of us. Are you going to post that?
Oh yeah, that's going on. Everybody listening, I'm doing a little video here so that we could post on social media. So I'll
just
actually
a little
go post
Saturday.
that.
It's a little Saturday afternoon, little comedy show / podcast pool show. I'm having a hell of a time. Hopefully, I want to thank everybody for joining, taking the time out of your weekend to listen to us. And Zac, thanks for making the trek up here, brother. I know it was a long drive.
Love it. And they're talking about all this high tech equipment, and this is what Edgar gives me. I don't know if it's even working.
Which, by the way, just to give you a heads up, that mic that you're using right there is the one that we use at the MZ studio.
Oh, really?
So just to give you a heads up, you're bashing on me.
I take it back.
You're bashing on me because it's not a Shure, but that's the one that's used in the studio, John. And look who got it.
I know.
Look who got it. Because I knew that he was going to bash on me for giving him something different.
Well, look how good Zac looks, right? Finally, after 2 years.
He looks like Ken from Barbie.
It doesn't look like in 40s black and white TV.
He looks like Zac Efron.
Yeah.
Look, in the camera thing right there.
Oh, yeah.
Just with a beard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that good or bad?
I have no idea. You'd
Just
have to ask some
throw names
women.
out.
Zac,
Final thoughts.
final thoughts? We're going to...
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to take a twist back into the question because I love that. And I think it is a really, really good opportunity to grow. And it's something that I've looked at for a long time and I just can't find the right opportunity. But I am actively searching for something that we can absorb because I think it could be a really good way to rapidly expand your business. And I just want to make sure everyone doesn't get too excited and jump into something that ends up being a real nightmare for them. So make sure you take the time to do the due diligence. Don't be afraid to ask the hard questions because the hard questions are the ones that matter most, and just keep looking and growing. So that's it.
All right. So Zac and John, as usual, thanks for being on the podcast. Super excited that you're both here in person. That's normally I do this from the media room, and it's you guys are in both far away, so it's awesome to have you guys close. And now I'm going to go change, and I'm going to go take John to Puerto Rican food.
Yes.
So
yes,
we're going to have to wear those. What did you call them? Loins to go to my village.
Wear loincloth.
You guys, we're going to the village to go eat some Puerto Rican food.
Yeah. Look, you know what sucks is that you made me feel so bad that even if I hate it, I'm gonna have to say I love it.
John, there's a lot of things that are possible for you to do. There's a lot of things that I know that you can do.
I'm too
lying about good food is not one of them.
Yeah,
that's like that's
just let him order for you.
Yeah, I'll look at him like
I'm going to order him some codfish and some lobster and some octopus and what else are we? What other kind of fish do you like?
Look, I just don't like fancy or the weird shit like beef eyeballs or like
beef eyeballs.
Does anyone like beef eyeballs?
No, it's beef.
I don't think I've ever seen a beef eyeball.
Well, in the village. You don't waste. You make sure you eat everything. It's a delicacy, right? So.
My son is looking at me like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Oh, man. What a crowd. So anyway, everybody listening, we are going to say goodbye because we're headed to the village to take John to eat some food.
I hope there's beef eyeballs there.
Anyways, I hope everybody has a good evening, and we will catch you guys Wednesday on the Instagram Live. Have a great one, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation Podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or PoolNationPodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at Pool.Nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to PoolInvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. PoolManUniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry. A pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at PoolManUniversity.com.